Okay, so imagine having a child that could read your mind. Would you tell people? Would it change your beliefs about reality? Well, I'm here to tell you that for some people, this is a reality. There are people that believe their child can read their mind. Yes. Now, I'm not here to convince you of the supernatural or even the sixth sense. But I do feel that we sometimes share special connections with people, and that connection can lead to things seeming very telepathic when it comes to like certain things. Like, have you ever thought about somebody and they called you? Or similar friends, y'all have the same thoughts about things? Is it coincidence? Who knows? But that is not the reason why I'm making this video, to convince you of children and people using telepathy. No, the reason I'm making this video is to tell you about a new podcast that I found. I got introduced to it on TikTok by like some guy talking about it, but it is called the Telepathy Tapes. Let's pull it up for you. The Telepathy Tapes with Kai Dickens. Have you heard of it? If not, you are in for a good treat. If you are someone that believes in the supernatural or just things that cannot or have not been explained by science, but they still occur, this is for you. The podcast is hosted by a lady named Kai Dickens. She is a film director and a creator. She directs and she created this podcast. She has turned it into like a multimedia project. So when you're listening to this podcast, you're going to hear footage of her actually going into people's houses and doing interviews with families. And she also like plays music. Like, it's very movie like without the visual. And I do think she plans on making like episodes if she hasn't already. I've listened to maybe 1 or 2 episodes, and I'm definitely gonna do a deep dive into this rabbit hole. But I wanted to share it with y'all first. Kai Dickens, the reason she even started this whole thing of telepathy tape, she became interested in the phenomenon of non-verbal autistic individuals who seemingly exhibited telepathic abilities, leading her to investigate and document her experiences on a podcast. Now, so she was listening to a podcast by a lady named Dr. Diane Hennessy Powell. This is a very educated lady. She went to Johns Hopkins, worked for Harvard, and she has pretty much dedicated her life to talking with and examining, testing non-verbal autistic children who seem to have the gift of telepathy. And now Kai Dickens is traveling with her. I don't know if she travels with her throughout the whole podcast, but on the first episode, she's with Dr. Diane Hennessy Powell. Let me show you Dr. Diane. Pull up real quick. Right there. This is Dr. Diane. Hennessy Powell. Hennessy, a heck of a name, right? So yeah, she studies autistic savants and their telepathic abilities. The primary people that she has seen with this telepathic ability are non-speaking autistic children. It's kind of freaky though, because it make you think, like, it make you look at autistic children or people that may seem like, a lot of times people write off autistic kids, especially if they're nonverbal, like they're just, a vegetable to people, or people treat them, but now it is, my bad, the evidence is piling up that they may have supernatural abilities, and they talk about it like you know, a lot of things we do or don't do may be limited by our perspective or just our bodies. They're starting to believe that people that are born like non-verbal or people that, you know, are born with certain type of what we would call disabilities, but now we're finding out they have abilities, may not be as connected to their body as we are, and now they are able to tap into different sources. Yeah, because the thing about this podcast is, even though it's called the Telepathy Tapes, there are more abilities that she finds. And I'm not gonna ruin it for y'all, but go check it out. Go check it out. Let me put it back on the screen. Um, but yeah, so a lot of these kids are like autistic savants. I don't know if you know what savants mean. Maybe you heard of that word, maybe you haven't, but savants are people that can display a high level of skill with no prior training to what they are doing. So imagine somebody that can hear a song and just play it without having no piano training, just can play any song they hear, or somebody that can do a calculus problem and they haven't been taught calculus. You know, it's like people with high level skills are displaying high level skills with no formal training. That's what a savant. That's what we would call a savant. So Dr. Diane and Kai Dickens do tests on these kids, and the way they do it is they take the parent and put them in another room, and they use a random number dang, I can't talk today. A random number generator, or even a random word generator, and they you know, flash the number in the parent's face. The parent then thinks about the number or the word, like hold the thought in their mind, just repeating it. And the child in the other room is asked to type what their parent is thinking. And they type it out, and then the computer they type it in plays the word. And I've only seen one episode, and I think they had 2 or 3 cases on the episode. And the first one, they got like 90% of every test right. But after that they had one child to get it 100% right. And it's just mind blowing. But anyway, I gotta get my little boy some snacks, so let me end this video. But check it out, y'all, go check it out. The Telepathy Tapes is on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, I think, and some other. But if you just type it in, it'll come up. It's very interesting. I'm definitely going to dive into this rabbit hole.